This is the Worldwide News Network.
I'm James Flippin. President Donald Trump says the number one goal for the war in Iran is to ensure that the Middle Eastern country cannot have a nuclear weapon. And that is a contradiction from what Vice President J.D. Vance had said, in which he identified the top goal as keeping oil and gas prices down. Oil prices up today. President Trump also said he would take military action against Oman if that Middle Eastern country interferes with efforts to control the Strait of Hormuz or enforce a blockade there. And in terms of military matters, President Trump pushed back against reporting that the USS Lincoln faces a morale crisis.
Over the years, we've had them out there much longer. I was at a group meeting, and an admiral came up to see me over the weekend. And it was at a big group, and he happened to be an admiral retired. He said, I've been on ships that are out there much longer than that, sir. And I know people on the Lincoln, they say it's beautifully maintained and beautifully taken care of.
The USS Lincoln, an aircraft carrier, has been deployed for over 260 days. And that reporting about its conditions came from late last week. Several service members apparently tried to jump overboard. A group of 15 senators are demanding answers from Secretary of War Pete Hegseth. They sent a letter to Hegseth over the weekend, signed by all 13 members of the Senate Armed Services Committee. Lawmakers demanded information about what they call a mounting amount of evidence of diminished safety and deteriorating conditions. Rapper Tupac Shakur died in 1996. Opening statements got underway today, almost 30 years later, in the trial of a man connected to his alleged murder.
First witness up after opening, a Metro police officer who was among those who responded to the shooting. Second witness, one of the women who was in the convertible which pulled up to Tupac and Suge Knight's car right before the shooting. Court is in a lunch break right now, but it's going at a pretty fast clip. But we're expecting up to 45 witnesses in this trial.
That's Nancy Liu of News Nation. Shakur was shot dead inside a car near Las Vegas. Anthropic, the company that owns AI chatbot Claude, has achieved an annualized revenue of $65 billion as of the end of July. CNBC says that came in a message delivered to investors over the weekend, and that revenue number is nearly 7 times higher than what it was a year ago, and a sign of how popular Claude is for AI users. By comparison, OpenAI, which owns ChatGPT, recently saw its annualized revenue hit $40 billion. Golf upstart Live Golf has canceled the rest of its season and will not host its planned Detroit area tournament. The group says it's being canceled in order to prepare for its upcoming chapter with news investors. This is the Worldwide News Network. A growing network of flock safety cameras is tracking license plates across the country and facing increased pushback from citizens.
The ACLU is calling the surveillance network a civil liberties threat. The group also notes that while ICE can't access Flock directly, local police have run searches for them. So Flock says it has roughly 120,000 cameras across 49 states. If you're curious if your plate has ever been searched, there's actually a website for that. It is Have I Been Flocked? And it has compiled a public records request basically covering nearly 4.7 million plates and 241 million Flock searches.
News Nation's Ryan Bass reporting there. If your license plate does hit as a match on the site, it doesn't necessarily mean you were under investigation, but that your license plate was searched in the system. President Trump answered a question today about flock cameras in the Oval Office, saying he sees pros and cons, adding they're being studied. James Flippin for the Worldwide News Network.